Well,
Um,
again, you were talking about, how you knew me or didn't, and of course with me, it's like, yes, I've done all that. Yes, I was in on the launch of the frontmen who are out there killing it now. I
mhm.
managed Tim Rushlow, who had been the lead singer of Little Texas. Tim and I were focusing on big band. He told me about the frontmen, and I
I
went, "Oh
remember
my
the
God,
big band. Yeah, I remember that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it's Larry Stewart from Restless Heart, and it's Richie McDonald from Lone Star." Well, I was Lone Star's first national agent as well,
Mhm.
and so I knew Richie, and so it was just a natural thing. I'm like, man, this is a super group. And then I started working with them, and then after a couple years, everybody was in their own groups, and it just becomes so complicated to try to book and manage that. At one point, I told Tim, I'm like, you need to go and just do the front man. There's not enough money here in the big band
Simplify
world.
it.
I
Yeah,
love
just try to
you,
simplify it.
brother, but you need to go with this and just run.
Mhm.
And you have my blessing. And so we didn't part under bad circumstances or anything. It's just I knew that they needed somebody that I couldn't be.
And they have
And
a great song out right now. Great, great song.
Eagles and Eagles. I
Yeah.
actually heard that when it
Yep.
was a work tape.
Yep.
Tim sent me that song a couple years ago. And again, it's like, yes, I've done all that stuff, but so what?
Mhm.
I've learned from it. Yes, I learned a lot. It put my name out there in a much bigger way than it ever could have without all that. But what am I done? My whole thing is, oh, well, that's great, but what have I done lately? I
Mhm.
guess that's what drives
No,
me.
you are definitely a very right now kind of guy. Definitely.
I'm not interested in resting on my
Yeah.
laurels. Yeah, we can talk about it, and I'll tell you about all the things that I've done, but and that certainly prepared me for what I do now. But I'm more interested in about what's happening now
Well, let's
or
talk
what.
about what's happening now. Who are some of your clients? Let's talk about that right now. Who are you representing today?
Well, I'm working right now on a real interesting project that I'm anxious to see how it all unfolds. It's a singer-songwriter based here in Nashville named Clif Waddell, and Cliff is a traditional country singer um, along the lines of some of the great country singers from the '90s. He has kind of a sound like that, and his fiddle player was in bands of mine before I came to Nashville. So I've known his fiddle player, his producer, now his manager, Willie Van Hook. Willie now is the fiddle player for Mark Chestnut.
Okay.
And so he called me. He's like, hey, I'm working with this young man named Cliff Waddell. I need some help. There's only one person that I'm going to call, and that's you. And if you'll take the project, I won't make another call. And I said, well, send me the music. And he did. I loved it, and I went and heard him live. He could deliver it live, and he was a great guy. And so I signed on to be. It's a consultant job. It's we call it director of operations. But
Okay.
my goal is to get him established in Texas. He doesn't live there currently. We're working on that, remedying that, setting him up residency there and begin to book shows. And we're starting a awareness campaign with radio right now, where a radio promoter friend of mine is sending his music out to radio stations, and so far the response has been incredible.
Mhm.
And but we can't chart down there until he meets certain requirements, and one of them is he either lives in the state or a surrounding state, and he plays 30% of his shows in the
Mhm.
state of Texas.
Yeah, you have to
We're
have a
not
presence here somehow, somewhat.
we're not there, but we're going to get there. And
Yeah.
so that's a challenge I've taken on. A lot of people might go, "Well, I'm not going to take that on. I can't." He's not working in Texas. He's not established there. But it's not the first time that I've broken act in Texas. So
That's right. Hey, Jake
I'll
Flint,
do it.
right? Jake Flint broke in Texas.
And he did, yes.
Mhm.
And so did a bunch of other acts I've worked with. But I'll do it again. I know I will. And so I'm working with that. I'm working PR for some great artists right now. I'm also running. I do publicity for Triumph Publicity, which is a division of CDX Records. I handle the operations of their publishing company as their publicist. And so I've got some great artists under that roster that I work with. And then, artists of my own. And I'm always on the lookout for, oh, and then I manage a black mother daughter duo named Honeyfire. And
Awesome.
they're
Awesome.
now, they're right now, I'm sorry.
I said they are incredible. Absolutely
Oh,
incredible. Yes.
I met them by sheer accident. A friend of mine, of all things, is a burlesque dancer,
Nice.
and the mother in the group works on cruise ships, and she was on a stop in Skagway, Alaska, and met my friend Cooper Lynn Hayes. Um, sh- she was telling Cooper about her duo with her daughter, and she said, "Are you working in Nashville?" I said, "Yeah, we write there." And she said, "Do you have a manager?" And said, "No, we're looking." And she said, "Wait a minute." And she texted me and said, "Hey, I'm sitting here with this lady. They are an amazing talent. Would you take a phone call?" And I'm like, "Well, if you say they're good, they're good." So
Mm,
yes. So later that day, Chesa, the mother, called me, and after that phone call, I became very shortly after that became their manager.
amazing.
And we're releasing music. And right now, the daughter in the group, Mariana, she is pregnant and expecting in August. So right now, we're kind of low key. We're getting ready to come with their next single, and hopefully, once the baby calms and things kind of stabilize a little bit to where they can perform, we're going to be bringing them out to Nashville and starting to make some waves out here. We're already making waves, but we're going to turn that into a bigger splash.
Good stuff, man. I'll tell you one thing I really love to see is how much passion is still in your face after 40 plus years on the industry side of music. You're still so passionate and it still tickles you to death. I love to see that.
Well, I hope I never lose that. I think if I lose that, then I don't need to be doing this anymore.
Right, right.
The day that I'm not on fire, I have a saying that I've had for a long time. It's I wake up every day on fire thinking this could be the day that changes the rest of my life.
Man,
When I stop feeling that way, I don't need to do this anymore
I hear you.
because I
Cliff,
really always believe that next phone call is going to change my life. This interview right here, somebody's going to see this interview and they're going to want to work with me because of the kind words you've bestowed on me and about whatever I've said here. There's likely going to be somebody out there that's going to see this that's going to work with me. I don't know who that might be, but I stay open for the opportunity.
Cliff, thank you so much for who you are and for spending some time with me today. It's just been a huge honor for me, not only to be your friend, but to be able to bring these stories to the world in any small way that I can. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Chris. I'm very grateful for being on your show. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.